Oh man, honestly, this battle between Russell and Verstappen off the track right now is something else. I just recorded a video going over what George Russell has said about Max Verstappen, what he's alleging that he said outside the driver's steward's room, basically, in Qatar, and it's intense. It's a lot. But to kind of get away from that a tad bit, let's have a look at what some of the team bosses are saying, because they've weighed in on this debate, and no doubt Toto Wolff and Christian Horner should be two of those, given those are the team principals of Red Bull and Mercedes, the two teams that these guys drive for. But let's have a look at what's been said here. Full article on the F1 Chronicle as always. Tempers are flaring as Formula One's longest ever season winds down in Abu Dhabi. A week after their spat in Qatar, that is putting it lightly, Max Verstappen and George Russell are still at each other's throats. Lando Norris, however, can only giggle at the spat. Yes, the two you're thinking about were sat as far away from each other as possible, the McLaren driver said, relating to the photo on Instagram of an end-of-season dinner involving all the drivers. Mercedes' Russell faced the media on Thursday and revealed that Verstappen had threatened him ahead of the Qatar Grand Prix. In another part of the paddock, the Red Bull driver accused Russell of lying in the steward's room last Saturday to get him demoted from pole position. I find his comments pretty ironic when he comes out and says, "I'm going to purposely crash into you, I'm going to put you on your head in the wall," Russell said. Russell, a senior director of the GPDA, said the quadruple world champion is a bully and vowed to stand up to a guy like this before it gets out of control. I just think this is, sorry not to go on about this too much, but this incident, the incident that he's referring to, let's just take what he said allegedly out of this, right? Actions speak louder than words, and I said this in my other video. The incident that Russell, this is all triggered from, is one that Russell did. He made that by speeding up to the back of Verstappen. The more I see that incident, the more I think this is really bad from Russell. And this is what he's choosing. This is what he started his argument to die on this hill about. And I don't know how he's got a leg to stand on, to be honest. But hey ho, there we go. Let's see what else has been said. He even accused Verstappen of doing everything possible earlier this year to oust Red Bull team boss Christian Horner, and thinks 25% of his engineering team sent out CVs during the course of the fraught season. Can you imagine Max losing the title in the way Lewis Hamilton lost in 2021? Oh god. Michael Masi would be fearing for his life. Exaggerating a bit there. Verstappen has also had both barrels blazing at the 2024 season finale, calling Russell a backstabber and a loser, but he can say whatever he wants, the Dutchman told Dutch reporters. "I'll probably bring some tissues for him next time." The spat has drawn in the drivers' respective teams' bosses as well, Toto Wolff of Mercedes and Horner of Red Bull, where there is already no love lost. In Qatar, Horner has departed the paddock by describing Russell as hysterical. On Thursday, Wolff intervened in Russell's meeting with the press by calling Horner a yapping little terrier. Good. "It's actually a matter between the drivers," said the Austrian. "I didn't really want to get involved, but when the other team boss describes George as hysterical, that's crossing a line for me. How dare you speak like that about my driver's state of mind?" As far as former F1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya is concerned, however, it's Verstappen who has come out on top amid the saga. According to him, his threat of a crash with Russell at the start of Qatar worked out perfectly. Even George said he thought there would be a crash, so in his head he gave up as soon as the lights went out, said the Colombian. "But I think if it was Hamilton, he could have lived with a crash. That's why Lewis has 7 titles, Max has 4, and the rest have nothing. But if you put George in that situation, he won't want to crash. Lando Norris won't want to crash either, but Oscar Piastri might. Carlos Sainz might. Charles Leclerc wouldn't crash. He'd go on the radio and complain that this is the most unfair thing on the planet, just like Lando. It's just their nature." I don't know about Charles Leclerc. I'm not so sure about that, but I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying there. Look, I've had my say on this quite a few times. This is just all a bit unnecessary more than anything. This doesn't need to happen. Dare I say it, I think Verstappen's actually got a point when he says that Russell's a loser, because he does seem like a bit of a sore loser over this. This whole thing seems to have been blown out of proportion ever since Russell lost the race. It seemed as though, relatively speaking, he was calm, at least publicly anyway, before the race. But then after it, going up to this one as well, my word, it's just gone too far. I can't believe what I'm reading out to you guys with this. Like I said, go check out the other video. It's a relatively long one because there's just so much to it. Russell
launched into one of the biggest tirades against one of the fellow driver I've ever seen. He absolutely went for it. I don't think he's right with a lot of what he's saying, to be honest. I don't agree with much of what he's saying, but you can go check that out if you haven't already, of course. It'll be out around the same time as this one on Microsoft. But yeah, guys, what do you think about this all? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to the F1Chronicle.com to see much more content on the world of Formula 1 just like this.